Truck's so quiet, but you couldn't even hear it. All right, now time for the loud boy. So we picked up a set of adjustable lower control arms for the car. Obviously they are used, but it doesn't really affect me that much. They're still pretty good shape. So I believe these are the PBMs. I'll have them linked down in the description box if you want to pick a set up. But yeah, these are what we need to get the fitment right on the back of the car to match the front. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to jack the back of the car up, get the whole rear on jack stands, take the wheels off, pull the old lower control arms off. Not sure what you guys can see down there, but those black arms are going to come off and get replaced with those bronze arms. So like I was saying, the first thing we got to do is jack up the back of the car. So let's bring out the old jack and the jack stands, get the rear end up in the sky, and we can take off the old lower control arms. Alright, so to take off the control arm, you gotta take off the end link, take off the coilover bolt, the mount at the bottom, take the bolt off the spindle, and take the bolt off where it connects to the rear subframe, and then we can pull this off. So I believe these are 17s, the coilover and the subframe, possibly even the spindle, and then I think the end link is like a 14 or something. But yeah, we'll get to that. We'll pull these off and get the new one on. So typically here's where you would line it up, eyelet to eyelet, to make sure it's even. But if you look at these control arms, they actually drop the car 25 to 40 millimeters right from the get-go. So if you look at it side profile, this is raised up a lot more, so it's kind of hard to line it up. So I kind of did the best I could to get it about even, and we'll just have to throw it on the car and adjust it once it's on there. Okay, so it's kind of hard to show much down here, and I apologize. The tripod's too tall to look down here, but we got this bolt in, and I actually just took it out and adjusted the head a little bit just so it aligned more. We got that bolt in. Now you can see how far off it is from the coilover, so obviously this thing's going to be slammed. So I'm going to get it connected, see how slammed it is, and I guess we'll go from there. So we just got to get under here and pick the whole guy up and get it all bolted in. So we just slapped a wheel on, and looking at it, I think the ride height might actually be okay, but we still have to pull a little bit of camber out of it to get it lined up how I want it with the flare. So we just got to thread this head in a little bit more, and we should be dialed. So I just went and made some measurements with the old Harbor Freight Special Deluxe Pittsburgh multi-talented micrometer. If you line these up eyelet to eyelet, they are pretty much even, I think, as far as the old micrometer can tell us. So we need to tighten everything up and get them slapped in the car, and then we'll once again go ahead and test out how they fit. We need to do like 1 or 2 more rotations, and it'll be where I want it. See. So if you look at the front, I want the tire like just so it's flush with the outside of the flare. And if you look on the back, yeah, I think like one or two turns will be good. Alright, I think we finally got it right this time. So, poke's just about right, tire's about flush with the flare, and it matches with the front. So now we just gotta adjust ride height. Let's get that control arm completely tightened up and on there. And that way we can go to the other side, get that one on, and get the car lowered down and see how she looks. Definitely needs an alignment, so that'll be next on the list. But I'd rather take it somewhere than do an at-home alignment because I want it to be 100%. So yeah, that'll be next. Kind of got you guys propped up on a piece of wood right now, but looks like it'll do the job for a new angle. Second one's out, nice and easy. Let's get this one tightened up and thrown back in. Look, the car floats. Static boy life, baby. Holy. Holy. Yep, she's pretty low. She's gonna have to go up a little bit for sure. That's way too low. Holy smokes. Alright. Let's raise her up a little bit. Okay, so I think I got the ride height right about where I want it now. It definitely needs an alignment, as you can see. I don't know if you can see, the wheels kind of shifted more towards the back, just because I'm not good at aligning the rear as I am with the front. So I'll be the first to admit I have no clue what I'm doing when it comes to aligning the rear. But I think the ride height's pretty good. I might drop it down, honestly, a little more. I think the front's like 2.5 inches from flare to rim, and the rear is like 3 inches from flare to rim. So it's got to come down just a tad bit more, but I want to go get this alignment done, and we can probably do it there. So I probably don't have time this weekend to go get it aligned. It's already almost the end of Saturday, and tomorrow I'm busy all day. Probably have to wait till next weekend, but I definitely don't want to drive the car while it's like this, because it's pretty out of whack. I can tell just by looking at it. So yeah, overall, the lower control arms, once we get the alignment, I think it's going to be perfect. So super happy with that. When I first put them on and the car slammed to the ground, I was a little nervous, not going to lie. But I ended up just maxing the coilovers out. And yeah, so they're pretty much as long as I can go before hitting that like danger zone point of the coilovers, the forbidden little circle in there, you know what I'm talking about, people who are on coilovers. But yeah, it's kind of like sitting right on that line right now. So it's good that I kind of got to drop the rear down, and I think we'll be perfect. So I'm going to wrap up this video right here. I got to go do a photo shoot, so I got to get cleaned up, and then I got an exam tonight. So freaking college and military life. Like I said, I'll have these lower control arms linked down in the description box below if you want to pick a set up. I'll also have the coilovers linked in the description box below. Use code Brandon100 at checkout at SagnusPerformance.com. It'll save you $100 on your order. But that's going to do it. I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.